Hello and welcome to the full-time Hangout Arsenal versus Chelsea. Joined here with the Global Gooners, myself, Jack, Moran, and Rayhan. 2-0 result for the Chelsea today. As an Arsenal fan, thoroughly disappointing results, thoroughly disappointing day. And, you know, it just sends our weekends down the drain, honestly. And this result will put fans in bad mood for days to come for sure. Ryan, what are your overall thoughts on the game?
Just really dejected, depressed. It's difficult being an Arsenal fan on days like this. Gosh, I'm sorry. I'm genuinely at a loss for words at the moment.
Yeah, Moran. The thing that is so disappointing to me is the players' mentality going into the match. You could say. For 1 second, I definitely believe that we hoped to win today. I'm not questioning that, but was there the belief to win? Did players thoroughly believe that all 11 of them go out on that pitch and we can get the 3 points? I don't think so. I think they hoped to win, but I don't think they believed that they would go on and get the 3 points. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they're just overwhelmed by moments like this. I feel like during the match they were manhandled. They were, Chelsea got to the ball most of the time. They were the more physical ones. It seemed like Arsenal didn't really want to stick in for a tackle unless it was like a yellow card, which Welbeck showed at the end. But yeah, it's just that Chelsea wanted it more. It seemed like, and I guess Arsenal were just playing frightened or nervous or who knows what.
Yeah. Positives today, not many. The lack of chances we created was pretty terrible in my opinion. The belief, the mindset, that's what needs to change. It's the big matches over and over again. We say it constantly. It's been our problem for the past 2 years. When is it going to change? When are we going to go out there and actually win a game? When are we going to go out there and think we're going to win a game? I understand shit happens. You can't win at all of them, but the belief in going into a game is key for every single match. And I didn't see the belief today. I saw the hope. Sure, maybe we could go grab a goal, grab 2 goals, and hold on. There's a hope of that, but there's no belief that we can go on to victory. It's just frustrating. I think we didn't get a shot on target till Podolski came on, and the game was done by then. Rayhan, just the twist of the dagger at the end with that second goal of Cesc and Diego Costa. How much better were Chelsea than us today, or are we just unlucky with the result?
Well, it's a tough question, really. I mean, first of all, there's so many things I'd want to say that I can't say live at the moment. So many words to describe Mourinho and that Chelsea team. I don't think in the first half, I don't think we played particularly poorly. I thought we never controlled the game. That's a given. We didn't do that at any point during the game, but we were in there for quite some time. We were in there. As you say, yeah, it was just twisting the dagger really with that second goal, because when we were a goal down, I still kind of had the hope that we can pull one back and make it a draw. For me, a draw in this game would have been a win. But I think what went wrong today is just the mere fact that we were out-muscled, on the physical front. We were just not quite there up to scratch, and as well in terms of chance creation, we weren't playing like ourselves. And again, it goes back to the psychological factor of being of going into these games with fear. That's the whole problem. We have that in hindsight. Our shocking defeat last season, and we were maybe overly conscious of that, whilst at the same time lacking belief in our own abilities, which ultimately cost us today.
Even at 1-0, Moran, it was 1-0. I think Costa got his goal on the 78th, 68th, around that 10-minute stretch. There's lots of time for us to go on and get a goal and get back into the match, just like that Manchester City game. We were down 1-0 at half, and we came back 2-1. Sure, we didn't hang on for the victory, but we at least showed the belief, the character in coming back. And today, we didn't show that. The only positive performance I saw was actually Flamini. I thought he had one of his best games in an Arsenal shirt since on his second stint. I thought he was everywhere on the pitch. Any other players that had a good game?
I think Cazorla put in a good shot. I think he had a few shots from. At least I saw him taking shots really, because you see Arsenal, they're very well known for trying to create the perfect goal. You know, passing, trying to pass till they reach to 6-yard box and then try to tap it in.
Dude, we just need them to shoot more. Like Rayhan goes crazy about this. Just shoot the ball. And
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just like you saw that one point where Ozil and Sanchez were, you know, they didn't know how to handle themselves when they were that close to the net, and it just ended up, you know, ugly. So you just gotta learn to take more chances. We saw Welbeck did well, not in creating his own chances, but he did well creating for the likes of Wilshere, getting them, you know, shots at the top of the box. So that was a good sight to see. But Welbeck, he was pretty much shut down by the Chelsea defense. I think they did very well done in limiting his opportunities. But apart from that, yeah, I think Cazorla put in a good shift. Yeah.
Just, it's frustrating because it seems like we don't have a game plan in that final third. We look great on the counter. We look smooth on the counter just because it comes naturally on the counterattack. But when we have to break teams down, when they're putting 7, 8, 9 guys behind the ball, it's tough for us. We don't really have a game plan in the sense, do we throw it into Danny Welbeck for him to hold it up? Do we try and get it out wide? Do we use our fullbacks? But then again, if we use our fullbacks, we're exposed on the counter for Chelsea. And then there's a 2-on-1 with a striker and 2 center backs, and you know what? We can't deal with that, and we're 2-0 down. Just frustrating. And Rayhan, what do you want to see change in the next matches ahead? Because there's a lot to be changed. Can you elaborate on stuff that needs to be changed?
Yeah, certainly. I think, I mean, where can I start? There's so many things that we can improve on. I would start right from the defense, to be honest. I mean, today's match is not really reflective of what this team is capable of. I mean, I really thought that we'd build on an FA Cup victory, but to answer your question, you know, we just need to be, we shouldn't commit our fullbacks forward too much, and we didn't do that today so much. Obviously, we need to remedy that defensive midfield role, although Flamini played well. I think today's problem was in the final third, in terms of our creation. You know, in terms of our counterattack, we built it up quickly, but as soon as we got there, we slowed things down way too much, allowed the Chelsea defenders to catch up, and they were defending in numbers by the time we had anything going. I think that's a critical problem. I'm a bit surprised that Arsene Wenger still hasn't realized that what he needs to do is when Chelsea commit their players forward, we need to expose that, get in behind them, and then, you know, maximum 3 passes and then shoot. Well, if it's any more than 3, you're just asking for trouble. You're just going to let them come back in numbers and then counter us. It's just as simple as that. So I think we can improve on that. But good God, what a frustrating game.
And just the smug face on Mourinho after the match in his press conference, just not even shaking hands with Arsene Wenger at the end. And this is the thing that really pisses me off about the media. So after the match, before the final whistle, they're all talking, oh, will they shake hands? And then after the match, Mourinho goes straight down the tunnel. Arsene Wenger's clearly not waiting, but like if Mourinho goes up to him, it looks like he was trying to go up to Mourinho there. And Mourinho storms down the tunnel, and then the commentator says, both managers choose not to shake hands. No, Mourinho chose not to shake hands. It's not both of the managers. Sure, things get chippy in the match. Things get competitive, and I loved it from Arsene Wenger earlier in the match after a rash Cahill challenging Mourinho there. But Wenger knows you shake a manager's hand after the match, and for the commentator to say both of the managers were at fault for not shaking hands, I think it's pretty ridiculous. Moran, let's talk about Mesut Ozil today. decent performance in the first half, and then it just went downhill from there. Second half, terrible. Terrible. What do you want to see change from him? What do you want to see change from Mesut Ozil?
Well, first and foremost, I want him in the number 10 role. I think that's something we all want to see. I think that's every supporter of Ozil and Arsenal. That's what we want to see. But it's on Wenger too. I think you gotta really have the right combination of players around Ozil. Having Wilshere and Ozil in the midfield, I just can't see. I loved in the midweek match against Galatasaray, it was Cazorla and Ozil. I think they meshed very well together. And maybe our next match, just having them and keep Wilshere on the bench. But having Wilshere, Cazorla, Ozil, having all these creative players on, one of them's going to be left out and one of them's going to have a frustrating day, and usually that seems to be Ozil. So going forward, I think Wenger's got to do what he has to do in putting the right type of players around Ozil for him to succeed best.
Here's a good comment from Big Pop 90. Mourinho didn't want to shake hands because he was afraid he was going to get dropped by Wenger at the end of the match. Here's a comment from Sebastian Malone. We aren't on the same level as City and Chelsea. We shouldn't go into these games pretending we can win. I think that's a great comment because obviously the players all want to win, but do they believe that they can win? That's a totally separate question that needs to be addressed. Here's a comment from the Hugh guy. He says, we missed Giroud. Do you guys agree with that at all? I'll start with you, Rayhan.
No, I disagree. I think what Welbeck did today, although he couldn't really find space or find any opportunities from our creative midfielders to put the ball in the back of the net, Welbeck did kind of fulfill that Giroud role in terms of holding the ball up and creating chances for, say, Cazorla or even Sanchez. His link-up play was good today, so I don't think we've really been missing Giroud too much, to be honest. Welbeck is a tall guy as well. I don't know why the commentators are saying Welbeck is not good in the air. Welbeck is 6'1". He can jump. He's quite athletic. I don't understand that thinking. And sorry, just to go back to the Mesut Ozil situation. Yep. Again, it's another frustrating predicament that we have here. I mean, just the other day I was watching highlights of Mesut Ozil during his time at Real Madrid, and he was stellar, like unbelievable. His vision, everything. Where is that Mesut Ozil? Like, what's missing? What's going on in his head that's not right? Like, why isn't he putting those performances out on the pitch? He was good in the first half, to be fair, but he's not that same Mesut Ozil. Just really disappointing that Fabregas is good on Chelsea and then Ozil cannot be good on Arsenal.
Yeah.
The world is cruel.
There was a comment here saying, I forget who, sorry, your name the comments just refreshed. Something about Wilshere slowing the game down. Wenger needs to change his tactics because Wilshere's slowing the game down. Morant, I'd have to disagree with that comment because I don't think Wilshere slows the game down in the sense that he penetrates towards the net. He always looks to cut towards the net. I think he's actually speeding the game up. However, sometimes I think he makes bad decisions, makes the odd bad touch, and ruins the attack in the sense that we just lose the ball. Do you agree that he either slows the game down or just his decision-making needs to be better? Because slowing the game down would mean, turning back, maybe going back towards your defenders. I think every time Wilshere gets the ball, he's looking to go forward.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like Wilshere is the guy who sets the tempo actually for Arsenal, whether he's looking up, trying to make that penetrating run, like you said. But it's tough on the other players because they, like you said, Wilshere's decision-making. They don't know what he's going to really do, if he's going to, penetrate and then lay it off and then have everyone's runs wasted. But, yeah, it's hard to see, it's hard to agree with that comment that he slows it down when he's the one that's usually always going forward.
Well, thanks for joining us in the full-time hangout and maybe the previous hangouts pre-match and halftime. When will Arsenal learn? We've been saying it constantly for a year that we need to learn from our mistakes, and we just haven't. There's no excuse, really. It's frustrating for our fans worldwide, and we just need to learn from our mistakes, correct them, stop being stubborn and going forward at like what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And obviously, I'm not calling Arsene Wenger insane, but it comes to a point where you gotta change it up, man. You gotta change up the tactics. You gotta change up the mentality, because we really haven't started the season off well. What are we at now? 2 wins, 4 draws, and a loss. That's like that is not up to a title-winning standards at all. Chelsea are at
19.
5 or 6 wins and 2 draws. That's head and shoulders above us right now. We got a lot of work to do, because the goal is the league title. That's what it is. It's all or nothing, and right now we're far away from that, and we need to learn. Any last words, Rayhan?
Yeah, as you said, Chelsea are head and shoulders above us. It's been a terrible start to the season, and we're not invincible anymore. We've already got that first defeat, but Chelsea are, and that's the one thing that scares me the most. I'll be prepared to see Chelsea win the league, but my God, I really hope they don't win it undefeated. I don't want to see Jose Mourinho take that invincible crown from Arsenal and from Arsene Wenger and those like classy players in that invincible team. These thugs out there on the pitch don't deserve to be invincible. So I hope when we play them at the Emirates, I hope we can show them who's boss and sort our problems out by then.
There's a lot of games left. They're at game 8. They still got 30 to go. I fully expect them not to be invincible, especially in the day and age of today.
So can I just say one more thing?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if there's 2 positives to take, it's that Arsene Wenger pushed Mourinho, and then Danny Welbeck put in a nice tackle on Fabregas. He's done that one for the Arsenal fans, and if there's anything I can say, well done to Danny Welbeck with that 2-footed tackle on our newest traitor who's joined that bracket of Judases like Nasri and Van Persie and Adebayor and so on.
Moran, what do you got?
We summarized it all. We summarized it all, really. It's just a depressing and frustrating match to watch. That was.
For Arsenal fans, it is hard for us to come on here after games like that, and there's 2 types of fans really. Like fans that we all get mad after a bad performance. We all get angry. We all get pissed, and a lot of people are very vocal in that. But we got 3 guys here in a sense that when we're pissed, we just like to sit by ourselves, don't talk to anyone, and kind of just mutter to ourselves. And it's hard for us sometimes to go on and talk about these bad performances over and over again, but that's the way it is. Thanks for joining us. Halftime, full-time, pre-match. We appreciate all the comments you guys send in, and it's fantastic. Hopefully we can learn from our mistakes, not continue to be somewhat insane, and just really pick it up. Like I'm not going to say we're in crisis mode at all, but you know what? We are on a downhill slope. We need to turn that around and start climbing back up the table. Thanks for joining us once again, the Global Gooners, Jack, Rand, and Moran. Cheers, guys, and up the Arsenal.